Welcome back. Let's take a look at the ideal gas law. And we've already taken kind of a look at this, but notice it incorporates all of our variables. Pressure times volume equals moles. Yeah, I don't know. Why is N moles? It just is. R is a constant, T is temperature in kelvins. There are a bunch of different versions of R, and it really honestly depends on what equation you're putting it in and what all the other labels are. If we have pressure in atmosphere, volume in liters, moles in Kelvin, we will use that value. Most textbooks use these units. So 0.08206. Your textbook happens to like kilopascals. So if you're using kilopascals, and that is for pressure, you would then use this number, 8.314. So just pay attention to your labels. Labels will always save you. So let's look at a problem. Calculate the volume, what am I looking for? Volume, in liters, of 3.07 moles of hydrogen gas at 0.678 atmospheres at 20 degrees Celsius. Now, do I need to know that it's hydrogen gas? No. You know why? Because they gave me moles. If they would have given me grams, I would have had to convert to moles. So we have PV equals nRT, right? What do we know? We know the pressure is 0.678. Volume, don't know. We have 3.07 moles. Now the R value, I have atmospheres. So I want to use the 0.08206. What do I have to do to temperature? I better add 273. So when I do that, I get 293. Pretty easy. Just divide everything by 0.678. Use your calculator. And so I just do 3.07 times 0.08206 times 293 equals divided by 0.678. And you get a volume of 109 liters. And we should have 3 sig figs, 3 sig figs, 3 sig figs, 3 sig figs. All right, let's do one that's a little bit tougher. Calculate the volume in liters of 317 grams of ammonia at 618 torr and 18.9 degrees Celsius. Same equation, PV equals nRT, right? So what do we know? We have, gross. We have 317 grams. Well, that's not moles. Yeah, you know where this is going. I have 618 torr. What in the world is that? Well, that's pressure. And there is an R value for torr, but let's do a conversion instead, okay, you guys? And then we have 18.9 degrees Celsius. So we know we need to go to Kelvin. So let's do all those conversions really quick. 317 grams of ammonia. And I would give you the formula, but this is one you probably ought to just memorize. And sadly, I happen to have the molar mass of ammonia memorized. I know, that's crazy. So grams to grams, you got to get those grams to cross off. Well, if I have 17 grams of NH3, that is only 1 mole of NH3. Don't forget, this is always going to be 1 when you're going to grams. If you're doing a mole ratio, not necessarily a 1. Well, that will get me moles of NH3, won't it? And when you do that, you get 18.6 moles of NH3. All right, so I have moles now. I'm going to use the R of 0.08206 because I'm going to make sure I have liters and atmospheres and all that jazz. I'm going to need temperature. So let's do 18.9 plus 273. And that gets me 291.9 Kelvin. All right, that leaves one more conversion, and that's pressure. And this was up above, 618 torr. Well, 1 atmosphere is 760 torr. And I believe it's also 760 millimeters of mercury. All sorts of labels for pressure. So when you do this very brief little division, you get 0.813 atmospheres. Now, I usually just plug and chug and solve for what you want. If you want to manipulate this equation, before you use it, you're more than welcome to. What do I mean by that? Calculate the volume. So I want volume. Well, isn't that equation rearranged? That? Yep, it is. So plug in everything you know, 18.6 moles. The R value in this case is that because you've got liters and atmospheres and all that junk. 291.9 K divided by the pressure. And if you ever just want to play with labels, you'll see how the labels all work out to be liters. It's kind of cool. Anyway, grab your calculator. This times this times this, press equals, press divide, divide it by that, and you get a volume of 548 liters. And that's how you do those. So you're going to have an entire worksheet on this. We start off kind of nice and then pay attention to your labels. Quite often, I'm going to give you grams, not moles. Sometimes I'm going to manipulate your pressure. Sometimes I'm going to manipulate your temperature. So really, really pay attention to what I'm giving you and what you need. When we do the book work, we'll use the other value for R with the kilopascals. But for now, I want you using atmospheres. So just make sure you're in Kelvin, atmospheres, and moles. Good luck.